Welcome back to Africa 24, the leading Pan-African news channel, for a new edition of your program, Decryptage. In this new edition, we will be talking to Clément Yuyun, Deputy Managing Director, Union Bank of Cameroon, about the challenges facing banks in the face of loan defaults. Mr. Yuyun, welcome to Africa 24. Union Bank of Cameroon, through its general management, was awarded a special prize at Finance Week 2023 for its actions in the successful process of restructuring the bank. What are your impressions?
Thank you very much. Before I get to the details, I want to first of all thank Eco Matin for organizing the Finance Week here in Tajidor in Bangu. It is very important to note that it gave an opportunity for banks to evaluate their performance in the key performance indicators for 2022. So in the course of this, Union Bank was honored with the milestones that are covered in the restructuring of the bank. The first thing I must say is that the government of Cameroon had a big vision about the bank. You know, when the multilateral institutions, the IMF and the World Bank, thought that banks like Union Bank and others should be closed, the government of Cameroon, and particularly the President of the Republic, thought that there was need to safeguard over 200 jobs, to safeguard the deposits that are carried in this bank, and to enable the bank be restructured so it can finance the economy. So when that challenge was given to us as management, we had to work, detailedly with the board of directors and bring out the restructuring plan, execute it in a way that was, highly acclaimed by the various stakeholders. So we're happy to have received this reward from Eco Matin.
In October 2022, the Cameroon Debt Collection Agency estimates UBC's compromised receivables at around 34 billion francs CFA. Has the bank definitely moved away from this major repayment defaults, which contributed in part to its restructuring and recapitalization by the state?
You know, the National Debt Recovery Company, in French, Société de Recouvrement des Créances, was part of the restructuring process of UBC. And with over 34 billion of credit facilities that were compromised, transferring that portfolio to SRC was a critical turning point on the restructuring plan. So today, as we speak, that has been concluded. The portfolio has been transferred to SRC, which is a more competent organization to recover these debts, and they are doing a fundamental job.
Over the full 2022 financial year, Union Bank of Cameroon's profit and outstanding loans grew by 84.2% and 325% respectively. What lies behind this performance?
Thank you very much. Again, once the government came into Union Bank, taking over 60% of the share capital and 40% going to the historic shareholders, Campur and the rest, management had that visibility to go back to business. And by going back to business meant we had to develop strategies. First, increasing our, credit portfolio, which generated a lot of revenue for the bank, but at the same time, focusing on treasury markets, treasury bonds, investing in the CEMAG region. And this gave a lot of non-funded income for the bank. Also, we focus on foreign transactions that help the bank to make some revenue. But most importantly, we were also galvanizing the aspect of optimizing our cost. Because if you make money and you don't optimize your cost, you don't put speed brakes on it, your net results will not be that good. So when the bank moved from 1.5 billion net income to 3.5 billion in 2002, it was a big jump. And for us, it also was a significant call to the market that we are back to business. And a lot of stakeholders are now talking to Union Bank as a viable institution.
What are the challenges facing credit institutions in Cameroon?
First, I want to, draw a global picture of our economy. If you realize as a country, we are financed heavily by external debt. About 73% of external debt to 27% of local debt, domestic debt. And this is because the local economy has not sufficiently incentivized the mass market to save money. And when you don't have long-term savings, it doesn't permit the government or financial institutions to finance the economy. So our wish and our drive is to work within the finance ecosystem to encourage savings. And encouraging savings means that we have to, on the government side, kind of reduce taxes on the interest that the individuals earn when they save money. The interest rates also have to improve. And we also, as an ecosystem, have to give assurance to those saving money, which means that they have to have visibility on the future of the country. They have to have that confidence. When there is that confidence, they are able to invest in either savings in banks or buying treasury bonds that will permit the government finance the economy. I will take the example of, just to show you how credible Cameroon is in terms of its debt sustainability. When the government in June decided to raise over 150 billion, from treasury bonds, from the money market in the CEMAC region, subscription went up to 176 billion, which means an excess of over 26 billion. All right? This means that there is confidence on the signature of the government of Cameroon, and which also gives the banks the assurance that working with government can be more sustainable in an economy. But the difference now comes with the fact that we have to encourage industrialization. If we don't encourage industrialization, finance local initiatives, and encourage exports, then we will be working on a deficit. So when we encourage savings, long-term savings in the economy, the banks will now have that propensity to finance long-term projects, which would in turn create a multiplier effect through industrialization.
What opportunities do you see in this environment?
Again, we are in an ecosystem that, first, Cameroon is the economic giant of CEMAC. When you look at our debt to gross domestic product ratio, we are at 45%. The average in sub-Saharan Africa is 55%. Okay? This is very good. Compared to economies like Japan and the United States, Japan is at over 250% of debt compared to its gross domestic product. Canada is at about 90%. Now, how do we leverage on this debt sustainability to transform the economy? The bottom line is industrialization. We have to encourage industrialization, and this starts from targeted sectors like agriculture. We get into agriculture, we get into value chain financing, and then instead of exporting raw materials, we should be able to transform and export finished products. So in that case, the economy will be sustainable, and our debt to gross domestic product ratio will make sense. Otherwise, it will just be a figure.
In the context of the missions entrusted to Union Bank of Cameroon by its board of directors, what are Union Bank of Cameroon's medium-term ambitions?
Thank you. Union Bank is a baby that has existed for close to 23 years. And the vision we have after the board gave us the confidence is that in the shortest time possible, the bank should be transformed. And there are just three things: increase revenue, optimize costs, and increase our bottom line. How do we increase revenue? It's by improving on the quality of services. Union Bank wants to lead the table of quality services in the Cameroonian economy. That's critical. We also have to empower our people. The employees are the greatest assets of any organization, and Union Bank, having somebody like Madame Kouché Charlotte, the general manager, whose background is human resource management, you can see increasing incentives, increasing motivation on the staff. So the vision is to give the employees that ownership and the sense of belonging in the bank. By so doing, we envisage transforming, digitalizing the bank. Digitalizing is going to make us, fit in the growing trend, which means that Union Bank of Cameroon, for instance, has to digitalize. And we have already started because we just changed the core banking system from an old system that was obsolete to a new core banking system that enhances revenue assurance, that also guarantees sustainability and digitalization. We are talking with Visa. Union Bank today is working towards issuing Visa cards. This was not the case for over 23 years. And we as new management, we could not see this continue to happen. We also want to engage in financing, developmental projects that will create a multiplier effect. We also want to leverage on the fact that the Cameroon network, which is made up of more than 300 microfinance institutions, which is part of the ecosystem of the bank, should be used in terms of digitalization to improve, the profitability of the bank.
Mr. Clément Yuyun, thank you very much for answering Africa 24's question. Please stay tuned to our programs.